Target in sight.
I didn't even know it was this possible to look so uninterested in in a social situation. She is like actually collapsing into herself from the fucking cringe of this guy right now. It's unbearable even from an outside perspective. I can only imagine how awful it must have been to act to like literally be there. I bet other shoppers in the store, if there are any, also haven't forgotten this day if they overheard this conversation or saw this from a distance, because my god. So this is when he finally drops the cute line, which in my case was beautiful. Well, you know, mine was a little better, I'd say. And if he didn't run away, he sat there and just fucking waited for a long time. He should have just ran away, honestly. Like, he should have taken a page out of my playbook for my embarrassing fucking history of trying to talk to girls. Because it would have saved him at least a little bit more embarrassment.
No.
Go to the beach?
Not really.
Like Yuri?
Not really a beach, is it?
You can start to feel the desperation setting in as he knows that he needs to get out of the store quickly before security gets called, so he just starts talking about items he sees around the store like a game of I Spy. Hacky sack. You like hacky sack? Yeah, fucking feet. Do you like feet? I am wearing shoes. Do you like my shoes? You know, you can really see that he's trying his best, but knows that, you know, the clock's kind of running out here. It ends kind of in a bit of a cliffhanger because you can hear him sigh, so you know he's still there. And I have to imagine that he probably just walked away after this because there's no follow-up or anything. So hopefully that's like the happy ending here. She didn't have to continue being bothered. And hopefully he learns a valuable lesson. I know I did when I did something similar, so I can only pray that he also learned the same lesson. Just don't really bother people while they're trying to work. You're not the main character in the world, so stop acting like it.
There are many places in this research institute to explore. Use caution when entering new areas, and bring me back all the delicious intel you can find.
Ah, fuck.
Lock that round. Not over yet. Ready up.
Oh, dude.
A woman in her 40s walked into a jail cell in Los Angeles, California. Now, in this jail cell already was another inmate. Her name was Etta Louise Smith. Etta had actually been in jail for 4 days leading up to this moment. The police were sure Etta had something to do with the savage murder nurse in the area, but they really didn't understand what role she had played. Now, she had already gone through a 10-hour-long interrogation, which led police nowhere. She had undergone a polygraph test, which didn't lead to any new answers. And she had also undergone a thorough strip search. She had been kept without food for 24 hours at one point. She had been left in this cold jail cell without shoes for 4 days. But she just wouldn't crack. She would not confess to playing a role in this murder. And so this was why police on this day had decided to go another route to get information out of Etta. That woman in her 40s who had just walked into Etta's jail cell was pretending to be an inmate, but in reality, she was an undercover cop. And so after this undercover cop walked into the jail cell, the jailer shut the door behind them. Etta was woken up by the noise, and she sat up on her bench, and she looked over at the undercover cop. And the cop, she was immediately struck by Etta's appearance. Etta did not look like a murderer. She was this little, slight, totally unthreatening person who really just looked like a suburban mom who maybe had a white-collar job. But the undercover cop also knew that appearing to be totally harmless was a great cover for being a murderer, and so this could all totally be an act. And also, to this undercover cop, it just seemed like Etta was way too calm and collected given her circumstances. She is effectively wanted for murder, and the police are putting so much pressure on her to get her to speak about it, and she's just laying down sleeping in her cell, making no big deal about it. But the undercover cop maintained a very neutral persona, and she said at some point she...
Go ahead. What the fuck? Fucking hell.
asked
Jesus. Yeah.
Etta, hey, what are you in here for? And Etta, she kind of just looked down and smiled for a second. And then when she looked back up at the undercover cop, she said, "No, you're never going to believe me." The undercover cop at this said, "Oh, come on, how bad could it be? Tell me what's going on here. Why are you in here?" And it was at this point that Etta would say something that nearly caused the cop to break character. Because Etta, she would say, "Well, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a movie." Now, the undercover police officer tried to be as neutral as possible as she's hearing this, but in her mind, she's like, okay, well, I clearly just discovered Etta's motive for being involved in this murder. Etta wants to be famous. She wants this made into a movie where she's the star. At the same time this conversation was happening, in an office within the jailhouse, a police captain was listening in on the conversation between Etta and this undercover cop. And when he listened to Etta talk about wanting to turn her story into a movie, he just shook his head in disgust because Etta had just brought police to the location of the body of 31-year-old Melanie Uribe, a local nurse who was robbed and savagely beaten to death and then dumped in a canyon.
Target in sight.
Now here Etta was talking about publicity.
Our team is surrounded by unknown enemies. Need backup. Leave it.
Beginning to form a theory of what actually happened to Melanie Uribe and how Etta played a role. His theory went like this. 6 days earlier, the victim, Melanie Uribe, had left for her shift at the hospital in Burbank, California, which is a suburb of Los Angeles, but she had never arrived for her shift. And so when her colleagues had noticed her absence, eventually the police were called and a search was launched to find her. But after 48 hours, the police had not found Melanie, and there were no signs as to what happened to her. She had just vanished. And it was at that point, 2 days after Melanie had gone missing, that Etta just showed up at the police station and said she knew where Melanie was. And so the detective who was talking to Etta at the time when she came in and said this, he brought out a map and he said, okay, she is. To this area on the map called Lopez Canyon, which was about 25 miles away from Los Angeles, and she would tell the detective that, yeah, Melanie is somewhere right there. When the detective asked Etta, how do you know this? Etta would say she just knew, and then when the detective followed up and said, Etta, this is pretty incriminating that you're telling me you know where someone's body is, what's motivating you to come and say this to me? And Etta would say that her conscience was weighing on her terribly, and she just had to go to police. When the detective looked into who Etta was, he discovered that she had a great job. She worked at an aerospace company in Burbank, California, and she even had governmental clearance. But at the same time, the detective knew there was no good reason for why Etta would have this information, the location of a dead body. So the detective said to Etta, hey, come back tomorrow and we'll take a police helicopter and fly out over that canyon and we'll see if we can find Melanie's body together. And so Etta said, okay, sounds good. She turned and she left. But then just an hour later, Etta came back into the police station with her 2 young kids in the car, and she would tell that detective that she actually just drove out with her kids to that canyon and had found Melanie's body. In fact, she told the detective that her 7-year-old child, who was in the car right now, had been the one to actually find Melanie's body. The detective could not believe this woman, 1, had gone out by herself to do this, but 2, had brought along her kids as well, and with Etta's help, they went out to a particular spot in this canyon, and sure enough, when they got out there, right in the spot where Etta said it would be, was Melanie's badly beaten body. And so it was at this point that the police captain had grabbed Etta and said, you're under arrest, I'm putting you in a cell.
Big news. Big Americans. Cheeseburger style.
Because there's no
Rijd je niet weg, dus code 11 en profiteer dit jaar nog van de gunstige bijtelling.
way you could have known about this unless you were somehow involved. The captain thought by putting Etta in jail for a couple of days, she'd get scared and start talking. But 4 days had gone by, and Etta had not cracked. She had not given up anything beyond telling the undercover police officer that she thought her story that was kind of still developing would likely be turned into a movie. The police captain would catch a break on that 4th day because he would receive a phone call that would totally change everything about this case. It would turn out on December 17th, 1983, so the same day that Etta would go into the police station to report that she knew where Melanie Uribe's body was, well, on that day, Etta was at work listening to the radio and filing some paperwork. And as Etta listened to the radio, the local newscaster was talking about Melanie Uribe and how she was missing. And the newscaster talked about how police had found her truck and it was parked on this dead-end street, and that police were searching nearby residences to see if maybe they knew what happened to Melanie. And it was right around this point that Etta's listening to the news about Melanie that Etta heard a voice in the room she was in. And the voice said very clearly to Etta, she's not in one of those houses. And Etta, immediately when she heard it, she turned around, wondering who the heck was in here, who's talking to her, but there was nobody else in the room. And then it was like immediately there were these flashes of images in Etta's brain that she had no idea what they meant, but it was a succession of a dirt road, and then a bush, and then something white, a nurse's shoe. And Etta very clearly saw these 3 images. And it was right then that Etta thought, oh my God, I know where Melanie Uribe is. And so she sat there wondering what to do, and then finally thought, I have to go to police, as crazy as this sounds. And so she hopped in the car, and she drove to the police station, and she said, I don't know how, but I do know Melanie Uribe is right there in that canyon. But when the police had said, come back tomorrow, and we'll go out and look for her, Etta just couldn't wait, and so she had gone with her kids, driven out to the canyon that she had seen in her mind, and sure enough, when she got out there, they found the white nurse's shoe, and it was right near Melanie's body, which meant that voice that Etta heard and the vision she had all been real. The phone call that the police captain received on the 4th day that Etta was sitting in jail and talking to the undercover cop, the phone call that changed the whole case, well, the phone call was from another policeman saying, just arrested 3 men who were caught bragging about beating and killing Melanie Uribe, and they had confessed, and they were now being held in jail. And so clearly, Etta did not commit this murder, and so even though it made no sense that she just knew where this body was, the police had to release Etta the same day, so she was released, and then ultimately the 3 men who confessed to killing Melanie Uribe, they would be found guilty, and they would each be sentenced to life in prison. 6 years later, Etta would sue the police department, and she would win the lawsuit because the jury on that case absolutely believed that Etta really did have a psychic vision that led to the discovery of Melanie's body. Etta would never go on to make a movie about her story, and in fact, when she was asked later on about why she said that during her conversations with that undercover cop, Etta would clarify that she didn't say that she wanted to make a movie, but rather she said to the undercover cop something to the effect of, it feels like I'm living out a bad movie. So that was kind of misconstrued by police into her saying, I want to make a movie about this. She didn't and has never made a movie and in no way has sought out any fame or recognition for what happened.
Oh yeah.
Bring me a couple of buckets with that mud and rock stamp. Give me at least 2 more. Dump her in there. Dump her. Good. Using 38 to drop the mud. Tell her to step off the creek on the cut. He's a step closer to finding out. If you jump, we'll pay out. Be close up while we're up and running.
Nice work. Ready for the next round.
Wait. Stop a little bit. And then we'll go through plans and we'll put it back on track.
Defend the objective. They have the bomb.
Enemy down.
Danke, Ruhe.
Whitley is on plane for the last time.
Told me I was.
Guys can't trust your neighbors. You never know who you live next to. And yesterday I was sleeping at about 6:45 a.m. and at 7 a.m. My gate was kicked in through an alley. That's the entrance to my home. But if you've seen it, it's not a bad place. Large studio. But I was raided by the LA Impact Task Force, and I got woken up by shotguns and battering rams, and I didn't, you guys can't tell, but I'm wearing contacts right now, and I can't see for shit. And they're going like, hands in the air, motherfucker, and I think it's my roommate playing a prank on me, but I was going for my glasses, and then they're saying it, but it's and I put them on. The shotgun pointed at my chest. I'm the head down. Shitless, I'm in my pajama pants. I'm still high from the night before because I don't know if you can tell I smoked a lot of weed. Hey, I'm sorry. Oh, what happened? Answer it. So maybe about like here's my question. And then my roommates are out there, and it's Leo, Heather, and Marley. And I probably shouldn't have said their names either. I look at Leo, and he's looking at me. He's handcuffed, and I'm handcuffed. Going on, he's like, "Oh." And then he flips it down, and he flips it all of us. Like, apparently, I'm the only one that sleeps in his underwear. We all have pajama pants on. And he's El Nudo. And then, like, they bring the dogs in, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And they say, you have anything? Iffy, they're assholes, you know, they say things like that. And then I was like, yeah, of course, you know. Who's the fuck in there? There's nothing else. I gave that up long ago. And I wasn't lying, because they brought the dog in and they found some weed, but I told them I had a medical marijuana license. And they told me that I had more than I was allowed to have with a medical marijuana license. My buddy Chris still consoled me. He's like, dude, it's all right, bro. And oh shit, where am I going with this? Oh, and then oh, Mike was a family man with the mother, wife, kid. Mike's a two-striker, aka King fucking Mike, who's wanted for like cocaine or guns or both. I don't know. But they have the LA Impact Task Force at my door, and yeah, Chris is cool. I got his number. He asked me about a 10-year reunion.
Kijk, jij bent een godverdomme een grootse kafroer. Jij bent godverdomme een grootse tienerpaaie. Kijk, jij bent een godverdomme een grootse kafroer.
What's it do?
Kijk, jij Sorry, joh.
You look like a person who has secrets.
So the Kola Super Deep borehole is the deepest artificial hole on Earth. It attained the maximum true vertical depth of just over 300 meters, which is 40,000 feet in 1989. This is the result of a scientific drilling effort to penetrate as deeply as possible into Earth's crust, and this was conducted by the Soviet Union near the Russia border with Norway. Keep this in mind, if Earth was the size of an apple, they wouldn't have even gotten through the skin. On average, the thickness of the apple skin is 0.4% of its diameter, while this hole is less than 0.1% of Earth's diameter. Also, in the 1990s, there was this newspaper that claimed the Soviets stopped drilling because they heard these terrifying screams and voices crying out in This was later debunked supposedly, but still it's an interesting urban legend. They actually stopped because for some reason they got these unexpectedly high temperatures because their drills were like melting. It got up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and the rocks started to act like plasticky. And honestly, it's kind of strange because it's like they weren't that far into Earth's crust. I just looked it up and it said that radioactive decay from Earth's crust happens that deep, along with heat from the molten core coming up from the Earth, which it seems way too close to the surface for it to be getting that hot, but I don't know, I'm not really an expert on this, but it just seemed really strange to me. What do you guys think? So the Kola Super Deep borehole is the deepest artificial hole on Earth. It attained the maximum true vertical depth of just over 1,200 meters, which is 40,000 feet in 1989. This is the result of a scientific drilling effort to penetrate as deeply as possible into Earth's crust, and this was conducted by the Soviet Union near the Russia Norway. Keep this in mind, if Earth was the size of an apple, they wouldn't have even gotten through the skin. On average, the thickness of the apple skin is 0.4% of its diameter, while this hole is less than 0.1% of its diameter. Also, in the 1990s, there was this newspaper that claimed the Soviets stopped drilling because they heard these terrifying screams and voices crying out in agony. This was later debunked supposedly, but still it's an interesting urban legend. They actually stopped because for some reason they got these unexpectedly high temperatures because their drills were like melting. It got up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and the rocks started to act like plasticky. And honestly, it's kind of strange because it's like they weren't that far into Earth's crust. I just looked it up and it said that radioactive decay from Earth's crust happens that deep, along with heat from the molten core coming up from the Earth, which it seems way too close to the surface for it to be getting that hot, but I don't know, I'm not really an expert on this, but it just seems really strange to me. What do you guys think?
A UFO crashed in South Korea, and it's so big they can't move it. So you know what they did? They just built a city around it. Yeah, that was just announced today. Yeah, it's all over the news. A United States congressman said this, and he provided pictures. Pictures, I tell you. Satellite images of South Korea, where this massive UFO crashed. Congressman Eric Bledsoe. Yeah, he says that's what this massive building in South Korea is, seen from satellite. That it was just made to cover up the UFO. And so was the whole city around it. They basically built a building to cover the UFO, and then made a city so it would look normal. So you know, I got to thinking, has this happened here in the United States? It would explain parts of Florida and Bakersfield, California. Every time I think I heard it all, I hear something new, and it's even stranger than the last thing I heard. I can't push it. I just love to share this with you, because that's the kind of guy I am. Shout him up.
So I have some really special news for you. I have a job if you want it.
Yeah, I want it.
You're going to bypass a golden ticket completely, and anything can happen. As you know, clearly, this show, anything can happen. Make some noise. Your next bucket full. It's Dietrich Flynn, everyone. Dietrich Flynn.
What you know about being able to beat the level of Sonic the Hedgehog while you a kid, but they come repo the TV while you playing it? Cause your friend's mama stopped having sex with the printer center.
Frontline.
Yeah. Shit about me. What you know about your uncle getting caught with a felony amount of stolen Febreze plug-ins that he stole from the local Target? Like thousands and thousands of them, and the only reason why the cops found him is because he had them plugged into every single outlet, so his light bill was $10,000, and his house reeked of ocean breeze. Man, you know shit about my life. Y'all know me, fuck you. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I moved to Austin to take down Tesla. Y'all fucking Teslas, and I know it's a lot of white people here. Y'all love Tesla because most white people is robots. Not me being racist. I saw 13 Terminator movies. I never saw a black robot. I never saw a Mexican robot. I hated him. Hell yeah. Yo, what we do is we meet every Thursday. Y'all come meet this Thursday. We go to rich neighborhoods and we unplug Teslas. Yeah.
What the fuck behind those?
Regular here on Global. So literally, you can do it set every single week if you want to.
I want to.
Good Homo. Oh yeah.
We've taken the lead.
If Captain Hook was moonlighted as a handyman, he might replace his hook with what tool?
A penis.
Tell me the age a kid is too old to sleep with a what you say? I guess for you, if I can't use my hook, I tell you. If Captain Hook was moonlighted as a handyman, he might replace his hook with what tool?
A penis.
Tell me.
Cover me.
I guess for you, well, if I can't use my hook, I tell you.
Sets of coordinates of South America.
Enemy in sight.
The other one, you haven't seen my video on
Hey Homo.
face Antarctica. Kind of want to highlight that again for you. There are many mud fossils found in Antarctica. Here's one of my favorite ones, though. So those are the coordinates here. Zoom in. And there you have it. This one has a lot more darker vibes to it. It makes you wonder, are these frozen areas graveyards of Titans? Let's take a look. So for one, this whole region right here, this ice region, is the Parque Nakalana, I'm going to try and pronounce that, but it's a restricted area. No flights over 3,000 feet, or under 3,000 feet, sorry. No access, it's nature.
We're almost there. Keep it up.
And you see all on this mountainside.
Keep it up.
And right here. Very odd type of Titans. Another one.
Danke.
Dark. Here's this set right here. Very almost demonic, if you would. But they are everywhere in this region. Very creepy moss here as well, but that should be no moss. So it's just like a thing full of ice.
says. When you zoom in on that crop of faces right here, see that word, that little M house, Google lens.
Full anxiety, like, I live in the city, I don't have a car, I just walk around everywhere. You guys ever do this one? You guys ever leave the house without headphones? Thoughts are not good. This whole time I thought I loved music. Turns out I just hate my brain. Just being attacked all day long with this insecurity playlist on shuffle. What are you doing with your life? You drink too much. Gonna die alone? Do you call that a penis? I'll be at a party, hanging out, everybody's having a good time, talking. My brain's like, hey, you weirdo. You're being too quiet. Everybody's wondering why you're such a quiet weirdo. Come on. Get in there. Say something, you lunatic. Come on, you freak. Jump in, you psycho. Come on, get in there. You finally say something, your brain goes, woo. That's what you picked.
Jij laat elke dag kinderen groeien, maar groei jij ook. Wil je je ontwikkelen? Zorg dan goed voor jezelf. In de CAO kinderopvang is al meer geregeld dan jij.
Full anxiety, like, I live in the city, I don't have a car, I just walk around everywhere. You guys ever do this one? You guys ever leave the house with...
I don't like your tone, Tone.
Timmy, you know me. Nothing but respect. Whatever you want, whatever you need. You're the
Whatever I want?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I took care of the interview tonight. Here are your scripts. This one is for D Madness. Okay. I'm gonna do scene directions. I'll be reading for myself. Tone, you have the first line.
You are the fastest rising stock in the show. Why don't you control the situation a little bit and tell the, Actually, I can't do this. I need to be honest with everyone. I've waited long enough. Spotlight.
The spotlight shines on Tone.
I have AIDS. We're good on the spotlight.
The lightning returns to normal as the rock monster from Fantastic Four strikes a sad tune. Obviously you. No, okay, what the fuck? Take it, Red Band.
Wait, you have AIDS? Yeah, it's, stage 4. When it's stage 4, turn red.
There has to be a cure. Maybe Joe Rogan has a supplement for it.
Shushes Red Band by gently pressing a single finger to Red Band's lips.
I already tried elk piss. Look, we knew my promiscuous gay lifestyle would catch up to me sometime. You have to let me go. And you have to host this show.
I don't think I'm ready, Tony.
Don't think, Red Band. Just do.
The music subsides as a drum roll begins. Red Band takes a deep breath, preparing to deliver one of the funniest riffs in the show's history.
Oh God, Tony, if you have AIDS, then it tastes like you have so much.
Never mind, Timmy. You host the show.
Side.
Enemy in sight.
Al Bundy? Yes, officer. I'm innocent. I was
Defeated. Won't let this happen again.
truck. Oh, the baseball team owner. I saw you on TV last night. What are you doing here? I've got something to discuss with you of a rather, personal nature. Don't worry about it, Trogger. Your secret's safe with me. I'll just go close the blinds and you can, try on anything you like here. For a couple of season tickets, I'll call a friend of mine over at Victoria's Secret, and you can coordinate.
Standing. Finish it.
Mr. Monday, I came here to ask you a question. Specifically, do you know the man in this picture?
Do you want to see the picture?
This one. Ladies.
Oi, oi, oi. Boy, boy, boy. GG.
I always suspected him.
Defend the objectives.
Why, that looks like
They have the bomb.
Mr. Monday. Then, if you're a cop, I don't talk to the law, I don't listen to the law, I don't watch LA Law. Let me ask you about is a spy, Mr. Bundy. A dangerous spy. And we want him. It's my card. Be in Chicago for 2 more days. Oh, not that you put financial gain above your country's national security, but there is a small reward for information leading to the arrest of this man. Oh, reward? I mean, nothing to me. How much is it, though? $6,000. I'll be talking to you. All right, Keg. I made the appointment with the dentist. And this better still hurt when we get there, because dentists aren't cheap.
Hey guys, what's up?
Oh, nothing. They say in the Kremlin, yet. Peg, please just go wait in the car. I'll be right there.
Promise me.
Yes, I promised, Peg.
Swear to me, Al.
Damn your heart! Jesus, to make you say to show me a love.
Flash.
So what do you want, buddy? Nothing, just get a chance to
ground.
Wordt het niet tijd voor je eigen ding? Waar je vakkennis en retailervaring samenkomen? Moet een Specsavers partner, als jij je vak ook niet kan loslaten.
They have the bomb.
So, ever been a spy? Right, come on. Who won the World Series in '76?
The Reds.
Drop the bomb.
That's interesting choice scheme, comrade.
Look, Al, shouldn't you be taking Peggy to the dentist?
Oh, you'd love that, wouldn't you? You know what I want to do?
What?
I want to play Name the American Presidents.
Got it. Yeah.
Afraid not. You go first.
Okay. George Washington.
Eisenhower.
John Adams.
Eisenhower.
No.
Thomas Jefferson.
Kanker homo.
James K.
Wait, D. Eisen.
Lost that round. Not over yet. Ready up.
He had run through the presidents 15
Oh,
times.
godverdomme. Oh,
Destroy the
Higgins
what the
magazine.
fuck?
bomb acquired.
Ah, de tering.
Where's the November?
Kimberly Nicholson, born 1969. Turn-ons, fast cars, walks on the beach with young Rod Stewart. Turn-offs, men who smoke, or and told Rod Stewart.
What's that? I'm sorry.
We got the bomb.
Let's check which one's boxes. Should see a really.
You've entered the bomb site.
Got it.
Bomb has been planted.
I think well. I see a fair amount of them. You have to wonder
Nice work. Next round.
Get it out.
Destroy the objective. Bomb acquired. Bomb dropped.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cars.
Achterlijk, kutdebiel.
We got the bomb.
Jesus. Post-apocalyptic world's iceberg. First on this list, we got Planet of the Apes. So in Planet of the Apes, they are trying to find a cure for Alzheimer's. So they're doing these tests on these chimpanzees where they get really smart, but then the chimp escapes and it causes this big epidemic called the simian flu that decimates the population. A lot of people don't make it. It leaves just scattered pockets of survivors. This flu spreads to all the monkeys in the world where they get really smart. At the same time, throughout different generations, humans are getting dumber where they can't speak as well and they can't think as well. They're becoming more animalistic. And at the same time, the apes are developing languages and societies, and it's just really fun. I like the universe that they created in this narrative. Next, we got Interstellar. I know this isn't as much of an apocalypse, but it's more of like a dystopian future. So in Interstellar, the Earth is dying, and there's this large-scale crop blight, which means that they can't hardly grow any plants on Earth or any like food on Earth other than like corn. So the entire world is in this last-ditch effort to find a place to live. So they send the main character to this wormhole, and anyways, they're trying to find the equation that would solve gravity so they can all get in a spaceship and leave and go to these other planets that potentially they can live on. The Book of Eli. So I've seen the movie The Book of Eli. It's kind of similar to the book The Road by Cormac McCarthy. In this universe, the world had this apocalyptic like nuclear war, and so 30 years later, the whole world is just, society's decimated, there's not much food, it's like a big wasteland, but the story centers around one guy who's carrying the last Bible on Earth, and he's tasked by this divine voice that we can assume is God to delivering this book to the West Coast to rebuild humanity with the knowledge of the Bible. But the crazy thing is, this main character is blind, who is fighting his way through this apocalyptic world. Next we got A Quiet Place. So in A Quiet Place,
Hey, fuck you.
Lost that round, but it's not over yet. Ready up.
these asteroids start falling down to Earth that have these aliens that are called Death Angels that can hear really, really well, and basically they attack any sound that they hear. So anyone who has survived this event has realized that they have to live in basic silence to survive not being eaten by these horrible creatures. A cool thing I learned is that some people think that these things were sent by a higher advanced alien civilization because they want to harvest Earth's resources, but they have to purge humans off the Earth first, and they do that through their Death Angel alien things. Anyways, to survive,
Danke.
they just talk with sign language, and they like make sand paths to walk on, so it's dead silent. And it's crazy to think about a world where everything has to be completely quiet. Next, we got The Road by Cormac McCarthy. This is an incredible book. I highly recommend you read it. It is about a world that it doesn't specifically say what happened, but I feel like that adds to the intrigue. But the whole world is this cold, ashen wasteland where plants aren't growing, and there's basically no animals and no food. And a lot of people have seemed to have gone insane, and they are all joining these cults where they practice cannibalism because there's like no food and other really bad things. And if you get found by them, you get captured by them and used by them. Anyways, it's just a horrible world. It's always dark. You can't trust anyone. It's about a traveling
Almost.
south to teach my mind. I don't know what they were really planning on finding, but it's a great book. I highly recommend it. Next, we got 28 Days Later. So this is a movie about this virus called the rage virus. This virus was created in a lab when they were trying to make animals less aggressive, but basically they did the opposite. The animal rights group came in and released the monkeys, and then they bit people and released the rage virus to the entire world. And so basically, whenever people get this, they get super aggressive. They're not necessarily zombies, but they are extremely aggressive, and the virus spreads really fast throughout all the humans on Earth. And yeah, it's just awful. Oh, also, they're really fast. They're not like slow zombies. They're really fast humans that aren't zombies, but are really bad. Next, we got Bird Box. So Bird Box is a really interesting one because we don't exactly know what it is. It's kind of like cosmic horror. Nobody knows where the entity thing came from. It never shows what it looks like. But basically, people have to blindfold themselves and not see this entity thing, because if they do, they either, one, go insane, or two, they immediately unalive themselves. But people are like predispositioned to, if they do see it and they're like crazy beforehand, they will force other people to see it. So that's really bad, because you have these crazy people running around trying to force people to look at it because they like basically worship the thing. And anyways, this entity thing is mimicking their voices, and it's really scary. They're trying to like lure people to remove their blindfolds. But it is kind of like Lovecraftian, and I appreciate that in this movie. Last on this list, we have I Am Legend. So I really like I Am Legend. It is about this world that was trying to cure cancer, but instead they created a genetically engineered virus that turned people into these mutants called Dark Seekers. The Dark Seekers are kind of like a mix between a zombie and a vampire. It seems like they don't like straight up eat, but rather they drink the fluids from people. But they're also like really sensitive to light, kind of like vampires. So they don't come out during the day, and it wipes out like basically everybody, it seems like. And the entire time the main character is trying to find a cure for this disease virus. And it's just so scary because it's like, these things are not just like dumb zombie vampire things. They are like super intelligent, and they set up traps, and yeah, it's a bad world to live.
You see, he did not come to Earth to try and start a religion. What he really came for, mark my words,
Heads up. Enemy UAV spotted. We lost the lead. Be advised, hostile Predator missile inbound. Hostile hunter-killer drone inbound.
Changing mag, cover me. Tag them down. Changing mag, cover me. Enemy down.
We lost the lead.
I put big red, gold, and the red.
Enemy down.
Generation Monster. Generation.
18. 102.
So, it's actually places choose.
Get up, team. Lost the lead.
Godverdomme, hé.
Be advised, hostile hunter-killer drone inbound.
On the next Cold Run. It's the order that everybody heard it all. Yeah, the other one did that. What are you doing in there, man? Touching the wall. That it's about the American thing. I'm going to allow the ground there, right?
Priority testing failure. Return to base.